So let's fly over the Orbit TVET College campuses, located in the northwest, in that boom zone of the Platinum Belt, which has resulted in a massive expansion of the area around Rustenburg and Brits. In fact, Rustenburg is one of our first post-apartheid cities, so it's going to be really interesting to see what it looks like. But this area is also the location of some of our oldest, most ancient cities. And so we have Morotodi, with its intensive mining and smelting of copper and iron, setting up all sorts of trade circles with the making of assegais and knives and needles and earrings. And that trade went all the way through down the Limpopo into India and up the east coast of Africa. And then the ancient city of Molokwane, with its wonderful soil, that dark, rich soil which comes from the igneous rock underneath, and its many rivers and excellent climate, attracting people from everywhere. People came and settled here up from Tanzania, coming down through from Botswana, coming across. People even moved through, crossed the Vaal, and then came back here. It was such a wonderful area to live. Even with the discovery of gold and the huge industrialization project which went on in Joburg and Pretoria, which partly caused that massive part of the homeland, Bophuthatswana, which you can see extending out in front of you beyond Pretoria, you still had the area around Brits and Rustenburg and Mankwe being a really rural zone. Even though they knew that platinum was in the area, platinum wasn't a highly valued metal. It was only used for jewelry at that stage. And it was only in the 1970s when the price of platinum shot up because it was being used in car exhaust systems to prevent pollution. And then the 80s and the 90s with computers, leading to a massive demand of all those platinum group metals. That's when the boom started to happen. It's going to be a part of our story. But now we're circulating around a 2 billion year old volcanic crater. And it was in this crater that Sol Kerzner decided to build Sun City or Sin City in the 1970s, 1979. Partly because it was then located in Bophuthatswana and you could do all sorts of gambling over here and get international acts to come here. The reason why I'm showing you this astonishing area is because the Mankwe campus, which we're flying to now, has an excellent hospitality and tourism section. So you've got a conference center, which can take basically 120 guests. You've got executive boardroom, which can take 16. You've got a restaurant where people can practice their cooking skills. You've got 2 guest houses, so you can do the complete simulation of the tourism and industry side. It also currently is developing the center of specialization for diesel mechanics. So they're spending money on an excellent diesel workshop in the area. But unfortunately, the Mankwe campus has also been struggling with upkeep issues. You can see the color of the pool is green. The residences really are poor at the moment. The students have been protesting. But unlike some other TVET colleges, there are strong actions in place to sort that out. Now we're pulling out around the Pilanesberg Nature Reserve, that old, huge volcano that used to actually be 7 kilometers high. But due to erosion over 1.5 billion years, all you can see is the deep insides of the leftover volcanic lava. And it's against this ancient backdrop that you can see the very modern platinum mines. And one of the old clans, the Phokeng, decided to use the white legal system around about the 1870s and 80s and start to actually legally buy the land in the area. And so with the discovery of platinum, they were able to negotiate really good royalty agreements with the mines in the area. And this has resulted in the Royal Bafokeng Trust. So over here you have the Lebone 2 school, a fantastic school. As you can see here, the pool is actually blue. High-performing children from the local area can come to this school and experience an education that's equivalent to Hilton or Michaelhouse or the top old white elitist private schools. And you can see the town of Phokeng actually looks fantastic. You've got the Royal Bafokeng Stadium over there. Looks like a well-maintained town with not too many informal settlements around. And right next to it you have now this exploding city of Rustenburg with its huge growth curve over the last 20-30 years, with its enclave developments. You can see those protected zones, highly secured, lots of security guards which you go into to be safe from all the developments going on around you. Now this Rustenburg campus which we're flying into has an excellent reputation. You can do all sorts of electrical engineering programs over here. You can do automotive and mechanical engineering. You can do IT and computer studies and finance, economics and accounting. You can also do things like sports administration and hairdressing and popular music and jewelry and early childhood development. So it's got a really dynamic set of programs being offered here, almost all of which have got good work integrated learning programs where they definitely find the students places to go to learn how to work properly. And many of the students from this college and campus do manage to find work later on. So Orbit College has really benefited from the platinum boom in this whole zone. Let's pull out of Rustenburg with its rich mansions on the right on the hill, its massive middle class developments and all those townhouses safely secured against any kind of robberies, and get a glimpse of that beautiful Michalisburg range with the platinum mines tracking that reef as it runs down towards Brits and beyond Brits to Pretoria. And you can see we're going towards Marikana Mountain, where the miners were murdered around about 2012. And this just gets you a sense of the enormous complexity of this zone, where the mines were caught between the ANC demanding huge amounts of black economic empowerment. You had the investors demanding an exceptional return on their money. You had the miners released from that apartheid, cheap wage labor, demanding and getting increasingly better wages, resulting in our democratically elected government hunting down the miners. And you can see where it happened. They chased them into the kraal that's on your left, those brown areas over there, and the koppies just below. They also chased them down there and shot the miners in those areas. And this has forced the mines to engage more seriously with community investment, and that's partly translated into assistance with the tvet colleges. Now we're flying into Brits, and you can see the huge Bophuthatswana locations behind. And this was a decentralization point, an attempt to create a space where you could use the labor from Bophuthatswana in a cheap way. And the whites were promised a piece of land over there. You can see it. It's called Elandsrand. And basically the government promised that they would get rid and relocate the people on the right. It was called Okasi. But the people in Okasi basically refused to leave. And that's created a genuinely integrated zone. It's very unusual to see the white and the black zones right next to each other. So now we've flown into the Brits campus, and this is another excellent campus. This is where you have the Center of Specialization for the electrical trade. So its focus is really civil engineering, although you can do electrical engineering here as well. You can do things like furniture, wood making, you can do new venture studies, you can also do sports admin over here. They've got a good business studies section where you can do all the management, NCV and NATED qualifications. So those are the three campuses. You've got Brits, you've got Rustenburg, and you've got Manque. Now, the name Orbit actually comes from the old colleges that used to be around. So you had a college called Odie, which got shifted away from Orbit. Then you had Rustenburg for the R, you had Brits for the B, and then you had a place called Temba for the T, which also got taken away from Orbit, and Manque was built instead. So that's why you have the name Orbit TVET College. Now we're pulling back, tracking the Crocodile River, one of the most polluted rivers in the whole of South Africa, pulling behind the Hartbeespoort Dam. There you can see the pollution, causing big parts of the dam to be covered in a green, gunky algae, which doesn't make the people staying in those nice mansions nestling in the Hartbeespoort Hills very happy. So let's pull back over this absolutely astonishing TVET college and the area it's located within, with the Magaliesberg Mountains running in that beautiful curve on your left, and the platinum mines tracking the Merensky Reef in a similar curve. You can see the Crocodile River creating that plain where you can do all sorts of agriculture, which used to be the main industry around Brits, and the many communities who've lived here for thousands of years, doing tin mining in the Rooiberg, iron mining and copper mining, creating all sorts of trade routes and networks which have existed for thousands of years. All of this caught for me in the black angel of the northwest, with her wings outstretched, her spiky black hair, it's jutting outwards, her eyes looking at you, with the Pilansberg in the center of her heart, and then her abdomen being the Magaliesberg running off and down to the one side. And caught within the black angel of the northwest, we have Orbit TVET College, blessed and cursed by the massive platinum boom, ensuring that it can both provide all sorts of work integrated learning, centers of specialization, amazing job opportunities, but also having to deal with the fact that for any boom time there comes a bust time, and within the boom time there's all sorts of kinds of people looking to exploit and take advantage of the boom.